today will be about food webs and food chains, because you're going to work on a project where you make a food web, and we want to make sure that you guys know all of the different terms and everything that will be on that project. Our first term is an autotroph or a producer. This is an organism that collects energy from sunlight or the sun to produce their food through a process called photosynthesis. And then it's always going to ask us here for an example. I'm going to just write an example. I will upload the document for you if you want to copy any of the pictures or anything. But an example would be plants, like trees, flowers, things like that. Those would be autotrophs or producers. Our next term is a heterotroph or a consumer. This is an organism that gets its energy requirements by consuming or eating another organism. In this way, it would be things like humans, dogs, whales, mantids, anything that needs to get their energy from something else. It can't just create its own energy. Our next term is a predator. So this is an organism that preys upon something else. One example of a predator from our PowerPoint that I'll share with you is an eagle, an owl, a mantid, humans. And then our next, oh, I'm sorry, you can't see that. And then our last term on this page is a prey. So it's an organism that is being preyed upon. By something else. So these things are usually smaller, like mice, maybe flies. Mantids eat flies, spiders eat flies. In the photo on our presentation, it's a rabbit. So again, usually smaller animals at kind of the bottom of the food chain area would be a prey. Then we're going to move on to our next page. I need to flip mine over, but for you guys, it should just be a scroll down. There we are. So our first definition on the second page is an herbivore. So this is a heterotroph, so something that creates. Sorry, that's an autotroph. Okay, a heterotroph is something that needs to consume another organism. It cannot make its own energy. So it's a heterotroph that gets its energy by consuming only plants, or it consumes autotrophs or producers. Those are probably other things that it would eat. In order to eat plants, herbivores have evolved adaptations such as unique digestive systems and specialized teeth. You don't need this square. So if you know that cows have like 4 stomachs, that would be a unique digestive system. Deer have mostly flat teeth. That would be their specialized teeth. So I just named off a few herbivores. We have cows, deer, mice, things that just eat a lot of plants. Next up is our carnivore. So they are also heterotrophs. And it gets its energy by consuming or eating other heterotrophs. Carnivores have various adaptations that help in hunting their prey. Probably large claws, sharper teeth, probably longer fangs. So these would be animals such as wolves, sharks, bears eat berries, so we'll save them. Our next term is an omnivore. So this is a heterotroph that gets its energy by consuming both plants and other heterotrophs. Again, you don't need this line. Omnivores have a blending of both herbivore and carnivore adaptations. So they might have some sharp teeth in their canines, they might have some good claws, but they also have flat teeth to grind and different parts of the digestive system. So I already said bears are good example. They eat berries, but they also eat salmon and fish. They also eat flowers, but they might need to eat like a mouse or something. So bears are a great example of this. The next one is kind of our decomposers. They are organisms that break down dead things or dead stuff. The detrivores or the decomposers play an important role in decomposition. So these would be animals like, or organisms, I guess, worms, fungi like mushrooms, things like that. Things that break down or decompose other living things that have died. All right, so a food chain is a simple model that shows the energy flow through an ecosystem. So I'm not a very great drawer, so I'm just going to put the name of the organism here on our chart. The way the arrow goes is important. You need to have the arrow going towards the one that gets the energy, so the one that's eating the organism. So say we have a plant. It gives its energy to a grasshopper, which gives its energy to a mouse, which gives its energy to a snake. And you could even go, which gives its energy to a hawk. So it's just a linear line. I ran out of space, otherwise it would be linear, but it's just a one-way line. It doesn't go both ways. It doesn't have different lines. It's just one simple track. And then our last term you need to know is a food web. So food webs are another model. Representing the many interconnected food chains and pathways in which energy flows in a community. So here we could start off with grass, and then we could still have a grasshopper, a bird, and a squirrel. And then we could have like a mouse over here, which the mouse eats the grasshopper, and a bird can eat the mouse. And then we might have like a deer. Let's do an owl. And then maybe a coyote. Maybe even the squirrel gets eaten by the coyote. Maybe if the owl like is injured, it gets eaten by the coyote. So all these interconnected arrows, all these things kind of interconnected, and just how the energy flows within this whole ecosystem. And then even if you wanted to take it a step further, you could have the mushroom or the detrivore. Once everything dies, all of their energy could go to that. So that is our food web.